Hi, this is Dr. Nefer Khepri of Magical Musings. I'm here today to take you on a journey through The Transparent Tarot by Emily Carding. This is the second edition. It's published by Red Feather, which is an imprint of Schiffer Publishing. Now, before I get into it, I ask that you please hit the subscribe button below and you click on the bell to be notified of all my future videos. Thanks so much. And now to see what is inside the Transparent Tarot. The Transparent Tarot by Emily Carding is unique among tarot decks. You'll see why in a moment. It comes in a very nice magnetic closure box. These can be stacked on their ends in your bookcase. They will not pop open. It's a really nice thing that Schiffer has been doing for years and years with their decks. There's a plastic overlay on top of the book. And here is the guidebook, which is quite hefty. And the additions to the second edition is fleshing out the deck more. The book more. Sorry, I'm not going to do another take. I've done this numerous times now. I'm tired. Okay, so the second edition gives you a much more in-depth guidebook. And it has 304 pages, and it's done all on glossy paper. And the cards are rendered at about quarter the size for most of them. And you're looking at this going, what in the world? Okay, you'll see in a moment. So then we take out a reading cloth. The reason this deck comes with a reading cloth is because it is very much needed. You must read this deck against a white background. I don't exactly have my table set up for this, so just let me push some things aside quickly here, and you'll see why you need a white reading cloth. The deck is done. I don't know if you remember when you were back in school or back in college and how your teachers or professors would use an overhead projector with transparencies. That's what this deck is. It consists of 78 images rendered as transparencies on plastic, which probably makes this the only waterproof tarot deck on the planet. As far as I know, the only one. You can read these in the bathtub. So, what makes them unique is each card consists, this is the Fool card, Major Arcana number 0. Each card consists of one single image that conveys the main theme of that card, the main symbol of that card. So what happens in a reading, this is number 1, the Magician. And I'll show them down here because holding them up like this, you're not going to see because everything is going to show up behind it. But here is the Fool card. Here's the Magician card. Here is the High Priestess card. And with these three, I'll show you how this deck works. Normally, when you read a deck, you lay out your cards like so. You know, whatever orientation you're going to use, whatever spread you're going to use, you lay them all out. This deck is very different. You don't do that with this deck. I mean, you can. But what makes this deck unique is you lay the cards on top of each other. They create new images as they lay on top. Instead of having the Fool here and the Magician here, now what you have is the Fool on top of the Magician, which places the butterfly between the two dragons. That adds another level of meaning to the reading. And then let's say you've got the High Priestess here and you lay her down. Now you've got the two dragons rising up out of a book of knowledge with the butterfly of the Fool in between and the rose at the bottom. Again, it gives you a whole other level of reading the tarot. And that's what makes the transparent tarot such a marvelous, marvelous tool. And then again, it's waterproof. Can't beat it. It's about to rain outside here. I can go outside and read these cards, no problem. They wouldn't get all sopping wet. I would. So these are the first of the major arcana. I'm going to take you through them all. And then I'll do a real quick general reading with them to show you how they work. So you've seen the first three. This is the Empress. So here's the earth and the hills, and one of the hills rendered almost breast-like to give the idea of fertility, motherhood, which are all themes associated with the Empress card. Here we have Major Arcana number 4, which is the Emperor. Here's the Hierophant, the Lovers, the union between yin and yang. I love that, within the heart. I think that's just an awesome card. They're simplistic yet very deep. The Horses of the Chariot card, the Scales of the Justice card, the Light on Top of the Mountain of the Hermit card, the Wheel of the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Strength card, which I really like this one because it's a lioness and she looks peaceful. She looks like the woman here has tamed her. And, you know, the Strength card it's all about overcoming our lower carnal desires and focusing on our inner strength. And that, to me, just sums it up perfectly. Again, very simplistic images, but very deep. Here we have the Hanged Man. And what is this? It's a cocoon. You know, so we know the beautiful butterfly that we see, well, where did he go? That we see back on the Fool card, which I'm trying to get to here, is about to be born, or reborn, I should say, because he was originally a caterpillar. And then here's a sickle for the Death card. Here's a rainbow between fire and water for Temperance. Chains for the Devil card. A lightning bolt for the Tower. And of course, a star for the Star. And here we have the Moon, the Sun, a Phoenix for the Judgment card, Spiral for the World card. And now we go into the Minor Arcana. So here's the Ace of Wands. Wands are associated with the element of fire. So there we have the fire. And here are the Two of Wands, the 3, the 4, and you'll notice how the images of the cards are in different locations on the card. That's so that when they layer, they create a narrative. And you'll see that when I give you the reading at the end here. Also, this deck is part of my deck giveaway in collaboration with Red Feather. So you can enter on this video, and you can enter on my other video, my review of the Mahabharata Oracle. That deck is being given away. There's going to be 2 winners. So just to let you know, rules for the giveaway appear below this video. And here we have the 6 of Wands, the 7, the 8. You notice how now he's in the upper right-hand corner? There's a reason for that, as you'll see And here is our little guy up now in the upper left-hand corner for the 8 of Wands. And then there's the 9 and the 10. And then we have the court cards. So there's the Page. And the Knight. You see how they're in different areas. So when they layer, you can see everything. Here's the Queen. And here's the King. I apologize for those dings. That's my phone. So I forgot to put it on airport mode. Hopefully no one calls me. This is the Ace of Cups and the 2 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, the 4 of Cups, and the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10. Here we'll go with the courts again. There's the Page and the Knight, the Queen, and the King. We continue on with the swords, with the Ace of Swords, the 2 of Swords, the 3 of Swords, the 4 of Swords, the 5 of Swords, the 6 of Swords, the 7, 8, 9, 10. And you notice how simplistic the images appear to be? That's very deceptive, because once you layer these cards, it's like the readings. The more you layer them, the deeper the reading becomes. Here we have the Page of Swords, and the Knight, the Queen, and the King. And then we continue on to the Suit of Pentacles. There's the Ace, the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the court cards. The Page of Pentacles, the Knight, the Queen, and finally the King. So that is the transparent tarot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a reading with the deck. And they shuffle wonderfully, as you can see. And they are a slightly larger card. They're not, you know, too huge. I don't have the largest of hands, and I can shuffle these without a problem. So I'm going to shuffle these a few times and come back with a reading on something that concerns everyone. I'm going to read on COVID-19 and see if it's going to go away anytime soon. And then remember to enter the giveaway here for this deck. And I'm also giving away the Mahabharata Oracle in collaboration with Red Schiffer. I thank Red Schiffer for giving me copies of these decks to give away. This is not the deck you would win. You would win one that is sealed in plastic. And I do have to say something about worldwide shipping. Originally, I had this giveaway set up for worldwide shipping. I am finding out there are certain countries, I'm in America, Certain countries are not accepting shipments from America due to COVID-19. So if you end up winning and you're from a country that does not accept shipping from America, either you can agree to have the deck sit in customs for forever, or let me know and I would have to pick another winner, unfortunately. But that is not within my control. Okay, so now we're going to see what is going on with COVID-19, if it's going to go away anytime soon. I'm going to pick 5 cards. And these cards are upside down. It's hard to tell that you're looking at it from the reverse. But if you look at the number will tell you. So I had them turned over. There's the backwards 9. So now I'm flipping it over. That's the 9 of Wands. It's backwards. This is now the 7 of Wands. Ace of Wands. Look at that. We're getting all Wands cards and a 5-card reading. That little noise was my dog. She doesn't like it when I talk to thin air. It freaks her out. She doesn't know that I'm making a video and talking to thousands of people. Okay. So what you do for this reading, you can do it one of several ways. You can lay them out individually, which I would recommend, especially, you know, since you'd be new to the deck. Lay them out individually and interpret the cards one by one. So what we have here, we have the 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands represents working steadily on a project in slow stages, which is what it's been with COVID-19. You know, there's been so much we didn't know about it, and we've been learning, you know, the scientists have been learning about it and how to manage it and figuring it out and figuring, you know, at the beginning we didn't even know really what all the symptoms were. There was a lot of confusion about that. And so it's taking all these steps to figure out what this disease is and how it works, because you have to know how it works in order to combat it. And then the next card is the 7 of Wands, and we have the suit here, and then we have the number here. The 7 of Wands is about being in a primary position from which you can defend yourself. So all the knowledge gathered here, it's saying knowledge is power. So we've gained knowledge about the disease and we're better able to cope with it at least. You know, we're all hopefully wearing our masks when we go out in public. And we're also hopefully limiting our contact when out in public. You know, and there's little things like that we can do to manage it, washing our hands and that sort of thing. And then we have the Ace of Wands. And this is all about a burst of energy. Aces are always about new things, new endeavors. And so it's saying that fairly soon here, there's going to be some new energy coming into the COVID situation. And this wand, it's oriented going toward the upper right. And that means motion forward. This is energy that's going to push the situation forward toward what? Toward the next 2 cards. And what we have here is we have the suit of Pentacles, and this number here is the 8. So this is the 8 of Pentacles here. There's the suit symbol. And the 8 of Pentacles is all about working on a project, and it can represent someone who's a workaholic. These are all the doctors and the scientists who are working on this. They're going to get some revelation, some big burst of energy that is going to spur their work forward. There's going to be some sort of advancement that's made, and hopefully relatively soon. And then the final card is the 5 of Cups. This is a card, the cups, when they appear in the tarot upright, they represent being filled with the blessings that the universe has to offer us, the blessings of life. Here we have an individual who's seated, and he's looking at 2 cups that have spilled over. So these are losses. These represent losses to him. But behind him, he's got 3 cups that are stacked on top of each other. And since these cups are upright, these represent the blessings he still has. But he's focused on his losses. So what this is telling me is that there's going to be a huge burst of energy Something new is coming into the situation for the scientists and the doctors who are trying to figure out this disease. And then there's going to be some type of a major setback that's going to be viewed as a loss. And intuitively, what I'm getting from this, I'm not drawing additional cards to figure this out. It's what my intuition's telling me. This is a vaccine. The Ace of Wands is the speed at which a vaccine is created. The doctors coming up with the vaccine will do it too quickly. The vaccine is not going to be as effective as they hoped it would be. So there's going to be a delay with the vaccine. So unfortunately, this disease is going to be unmanageable for a bit longer than what people were hoping. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what I'm seeing in the cards. And intuitively, I'm getting the month of October. And I don't mean October 2020. I mean October 2021 is when we would have a vaccine that is going to be fully effective. Whatever is the first vaccine they come up with, it's going to be partially effective. So it still may be worthwhile to get that vaccine. I'm not saying don't get it, but a more effective one will come out next fall. So is what my intuition is telling me. So now what you do with your reading is you take your cards and you stack them, one on top of the other. And then you can look at that image and interpret that image for a deeper meaning to your reading. So what I would see here first, I would be reading things in the image from left to right. So the first thing that stands out to me is the wand bursting out from the flames. So again, to me, that's a massive amount of energy coming into the situation and pushing everything else forward and up. And so what I'm seeing here is a figure surrounded by the wands. So even though there's this new energy trying to push this situation forward into a more positive result, we're all still stuck here. These wands, to me, look like a cage. And then you've got the pentacle behind it. And you've got another figure here. This is actually the Eight of Pentacles that we saw individually. And so to me, it's saying, you know, even though this is, to me, is the general populace and we feel trapped and stuck, but there are others who are still working on the situation, who are bringing in new information, new factors that are going to have bearing on everything. And then we have this individual up at the top here who's holding his wand, and he's looking back at all this going on, and he's marching forward. This is someone who's going to have some sort of an innovation that's going to really help. But again, we have this individual in the lower right-hand corner who's crying over his 2 spilled cups while he still has 3 upright cups behind him. So this guy who comes up with this great big innovation, that's going to be the vaccine. But then, and everyone's going to be all excited about it, but then there's going to be something disappointing about it. And I'm thinking it just won't be as effective as they hoped it would be. And so it's going to take a while to revise this vaccine and make changes to it so that it actually protects us from COVID-19. So I wish I could have said something better about that, but it's also a good way to show you how this deck works. So again, this is the Transparent Tarot by Emily Carding, published by Red Feather, which is an imprint of Schiffer Books. And I highly recommend this deck. And I do want to say that Red Feather did give me this copy and provided it to me for review, for my honest opinion. I do not believe in giving negative reviews. I only review decks that I like and that I think my followers will like. So even though I may get decks to review, that doesn't mean I review all of them. I certainly don't. So this deck is definitely a keeper. I also have the first edition, which I love. And again, the second edition comes with a much more involved guidebook. So So, and I haven't had a chance to look through it, but it looks really, really good. So there you go, the Transparent Tarot. I hope you've enjoyed that review. Please click the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner and click on the bell to be notified of future videos. And also follow the rules below this video to enter the giveaway that Red Feather and I have collaborated with. And I wish you all good luck. I will be choosing the winner on September 30th, 2020. And I will post that in a video to my YouTube channel. There will be 2 winners. One will be for the Mahabharata Oracle, and the other one will be for the Transparent Tarot, and they'll be brand new, sealed in plastic decks. Thank you to all who have subscribed, and I wish you all a blessed day. This is Dr. Nefer Khepri of MagicalMusings.com.